Hey guys, Nooblet here with another loot video, this time 1000 Abyssal Sire kills. Now I actually do really enjoy this boss. It did take a long time to finish this one. I started my Abyssal Sire kills I think back in June. The Abyssal Sire is a level 85 Slayer boss that you can only kill on an Abyssal Demon Slayer task. So yeah, it does take a long time. I'm going to go and talk a little bit about how to kill the Sire, and for anyone who's interested. Because in the last video, I asked if you guys wanted a quick rundown on how I do said creature, and a lot of you said yes. So go to the timestamp in the video if you don't want to see all that, you just want to see the loot part. But yeah, first things first, let's look at my gear setup. I use the arc light melee setup for the majority of the kill. I can't afford a twisted bow. Apparently twisted bow is really good, but regardless, as for the pre-fight, like with the respiratory systems, I do use the crystal bow with range gear. Some people tend to use the blowpipe. I personally prefer the crystal bow because of the extra range that you have. I do 2 Dragon Warhammer specs to lower the defense because it just makes the Sire butter if you can hit both of them. You can also use like a BGS, or if you can't even get either of those, let's say you're an Iron Man, you can use the arc light defense reduction. It's 10% reduction if you hit. But you can also use a burst weapon like Crystal Halberd for the end phase, or Dragon Claws for the same reason. I was going to go get Claws, but I can't afford them, so I didn't use them during this video, unfortunately. Last thing to note, in my rune pouch, there are Blood, Death, and Soul runes to do Blood Barrage, and then the air runes are also for Shadow Barrage. You actually have to have Shadow Barrage to do, or Shadow spells in general, to do this boss. Shadow Barrage has a 100% chance. The other ones have lowering chance, so I would recommend having at least 88 mage. This isn't a guide, so I'm not going to focus too much. I may make a full-fledged guide later. This is just a quick rundown, I guess. So yeah, for the kill itself, you got to run to the Abyssal Nexus, which is DIP fairy code. Yeah, you run to one of the sections. I do the southeast one. I don't know why that's the one I always did. And once you get there, there is going to be a sleeping Abyssal Sire, and 4 respiratory systems around with tentacles blocking them. You have to wake up the Sire first off, so I use my crystal bow to tag it, and then once it's up, you want to put it to sleep so you can actually kill the respiratory systems. The tentacles have to be asleep to do like really any damage. So Shadow Barrage again has 100% chance of putting them to sleep. You can get around 10 or 11 crystal bow shots off before the tentacles wake up again, and you just have to repeat the process. Just don't stand in range of the tentacles. They can smack up to 31, which is pretty annoying. But once all 4 respiratory systems are dead, the Sire is going to walk out, put on Prey Melee, and he's going to sometimes summon Scions, which are little minions that do attacks with range, and he might summon a poison pool under you, so just move away, just pay attention. This is where I do my specs with the Warhammer, or any of the defense reduction weapons. You want to get him to half health, and then he's going to move to the middle. I go and stand on this exact square on the edge of that like line. You want to switch to Prey range for the next 2 phases. And the reason I stand in that square is right when he's ready to be clicked, you just click him and you're fine, and it'll walk your character to the correct spot. Pretty much after every attack, you want to click on the opposite square that I'm clicking to, basically just as the poison splats are spawning. It's kind of weird to time. I time it as you let your character attack, and then right before your character would attack again, that's when you click, is usually how I time it. Sometimes if you're fast enough, you can get 2 attacks in. But during this phase, you want to get it down to 35% or lower. Once that happens, do the final hit, and it will teleport you back to that square we started on in this phase. And then you want to quickly run back to the line that I clicked to, which will prevent you from getting hit a 60 or so. And then you run right back to the same square, and then you repeat the process of running to the opposite square to avoid the poison splat, and then you run back, and then you're good. There's no more poison splats for at least like 30 seconds, and you should be well enough to finish this phase. This is where people use the Crystal Halberd to finish off the kill, or Dragon Claws, because the Scions that are attacking you get progressively stronger as the phase goes on, so it can be kind of difficult. Hopefully your arc light doesn't noodle on you, which happens a lot. But if you see yourself being low HP, I would rather not use the shark, so I run south a bit and wait for all the little minions to group up, and then I use Blood Barrage on them and get like a really nice heal. Sometimes you can heal all the way to full with good RNG. But that's basically a quick rundown on how to do the kill, at least how I do it. And it worked out for all the kills, so, but whatever. Let's go into the loot of the Abyssal Sire. Now this boss has one of the most interesting loot mechanics I think, in old school. It has a 1 in 100 chance of dropping an unsired, which you are able to go and sacrifice to the Font of Consumption, I think is what it's called. And then you have a chance of getting different rewards, which that two-step process of RNG is kind of fun to me. You wait for the unsired 1 in 100, which isn't even that rare. Like, you know it's going to happen. And then you have another line of, oh shit, what am I going to get? I really like that idea. First, unsired at 188 KC, I got an Abyssal Dagger. 40 kills later, I got an Abyssal Bludgeon piece. Then, about 60 kills later, I actually got the pet. Which, if you guys do watch my progress series on this account, that was just a crazy moment. That was super cool. Then, about 170 kills later, I got a Bludgeon piece again. And then, 90 kills after that, I got my final Bludgeon piece, number 3, which I can create the Abyssal Bludgeon with that. Which, at the time, it was worth 27 mil. But we're going to look at the prices in terms of right now, which everything kind of went up. Then, not even 40 kills later, got another piece. The Bludgeon piece, sorry. And then, final unsired, at 661, I got another Abyssal Dagger. So yeah, even though I did get only 7 unsireds, not the best, I got really good unsireds. Regardless, let's go to the GE. I'm going to show you guys my loot. It's going to take a couple inventories. There is a lot to go over. Alright, for the bulk of the normal loot, I do have a bit more to go through, but yeah, you can see that it drops a lot of rune items, a lot of alchables in general. Like all of these are alchables, so very good for Iron Men, for cash. They also have a good supply of earth orbs. I averaged exactly 2 per kill, which is kind of weird. It did go exactly to 2,000. So if you are collecting orbs slowly on an Iron Man, that's pretty good here. Overall, I think the normal loot for Sire is really good. I guess we'll find out in this video what it is per kill, but yeah, this is going to be a fucking huge inventory. 41 mil just for the first inventory of commons. Well, I guess 40.7 if you consider OS Buddy. Okie dokie, got the other things. One thing to note, I didn't pick up all the brews and super restores because they're unnoted. So a lot of the time I just left them on the floor if I didn't have space, and it's just a waste to go and bank them. So you can probably expect like double that, to be honest, if you picked all of them up. And this is the cash stack we got from the, like, selling everything. 41.2 mil for the last inventory. So we're going to go see how much I got in actual commons. Hell yeah, let's round up to around 45 mil. Considering you definitely could have picked up more of these, like I said. So 45 mil in commons. So yeah, with that out of the way, you can see my rares. We've got the extra Bludgeon Spine I couldn't make into a full Bludgeon, unfortunately. The expected value of that is technically 10 mil, so we're going to consider it 0 for this video, but in reality it is worth a third of a Bludgeon. And then we got the 2 daggers, which I think are what? It doesn't even tell you. We're going to put them into the price check. Daggers are about 7 mil, Bludgeon's around 30. So yeah, total we're at 88 mil. That's pretty insane. Pretty insane, guys. Now, if you consider this an actual price, it would be almost 100 mil. But we're going to ignore that. This guy is just doing emotes to me. What's going on? What's going on, dude? We did the emote at the same time. That's hilarious. We're kind of off now, but... Dude, shout out to this guy. But now that we know how much total loot I got, it's time to do some calculations. So this boss is kind of interesting where you don't use that many supplies because you're doing the POH method, you restore your stats. You do use potions though, which I'd assume I used 140 super combats and ranging potions, which I think is around a little over 2 mil. Then you have the additional cost of the crystal bow and or blowpipe, so I think that was another 2 mil. And the last 2 costs would be me using teletabs. I have no idea how much that would be, probably 1 mil. And then you also have to do Shadow Barrage, around 2-ish times a kill to actually do it. So I think that's around 5 mil if you include some random blood barrages. So I think a good estimate of how much supplies I used in this video, it might be a tad low estimate, would be 10 million GP. That leaves us with 78 mil pure profit. Let's just, for the purpose of this video, say that it took me 55 hours. Just so it's approachable and you can, I would assume most people could do that. And that would be around 18 kills per hour. And with those 2 numbers, we have a final value of roughly 1.3 mil an hour profit. Which sounds very low, but you have to understand that this boss is very, very long-term profit. I'm in the middle of finishing a Bludgeon. So it technically is higher if you include the theoretical value of that Bludgeon piece. And I didn't mention this yet, I don't think, but an unsired has roughly a theoretical value of 6.5 mil. It's 1 in 100, so that means the unsireds are contributing 65k per kill on average. The normal loot we saw, that was 45k. That shows, on average, in the long term, Sire is 110k per kill, minus the 10k for supplies. That means if you're getting 18 kills per hour, realistically this boss is 1.8 mil, theoretically, every hour. That's really good, I think. There's better bosses out there, but I think for a boss that's fun like this, I'm sure if you're like a god, you could probably get even faster kills. I'm not really sure the kill rates with like a twisted bow, but yeah, this is with my gear setup around like 90 melee stats. Anyway, I am super happy we're done with that big doozy of a video. Keeping all this loot and all that sort was kind of annoying. I do need to go back to Sire past this video to finish up this bludgeon, which you can follow that progress on my progress series. That'll be linked in the description. I do make episodes on this account going for max and stuff. Ask any questions down below if you have any like confusion with what I described early on and anything about the video. Definitely tell me some feedback down below. Drop a like because this video took so long to make. Put a lot of time into this. With that though, I do also stream on Twitch. My channel link is in the description. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.